Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, at the top of their game, we crisscross the country to talk to the finalists of the Purdey Awards 2014. Call me Hugh Hefner. I'm at the Clay Boy Mansion shooting pheasants with clay trap manufacturer Promatic. Too tight to mention, it's more how not to miss with Tim Pilbeam. First, bow practice. Roy's doing some fine tuning before heading out after Boar. The boy Lupton is not a one-trick pony. When he's not throwing Falcon's Eagle's pellets, shot and bullets into the air, he's launching arrows. Today he's putting in some string pulling practice for an upcoming trip for fallow and boar.
Bow hunting is all about getting close to the animal and that feeling of actually being a little bit more involved with the hunt than you are with a rifle. And that's what appeals to me. So for me, I always try and keep my shots a little bit closer. 30-35 metres is really my maximum that I'm comfortable to hunt at, because I like to know that my shot placement is going to be 100%.
So French France for Roy, and to warm up he's embracing the culture by trying to crush a grape, and first a slightly bigger target, an egg. Or should that be an earth?
It's exactly the same as when you're rifle shooting. When you're on an animal, you want to pick your spot and aim directly at that spot, so you're aiming small, so you're not just looking at the animal sort of going front third halfway up and shooting. You want to try and concentrate on that point that you're shooting at. Position your pin or your sight on it, whether you're shooting with a rifle or whether you're shooting with a bow, and release. So on an average size boar, yeah, you're going to have a decent sized heart that's going to be bigger than your fist. So as long as I can hit an egg first shot out to 35 yards, then I'm quite happy with that.
Well done, that man. Now, he wants to outfruit William Tell with the grape.
I'm going to try the grape at 20 metres to start with. That looks a long way off. That's a very small grape. Bigger grape.
The boy is on fire. So he's shooting straight, but it doesn't mean a shot on a wild animal is going to be straightforward. Roy needs to work through some angles, as shot placement is vitally important with bow hunting. You haven't got the full back position of hydrostatic shock. We start around the front, then broadside, then quartering away.
So as I'm looking at him, I know that the heart is going to be almost directly behind or in line with his front shoulder there. But with the shoulder of most animals, it V's forward, so you want to try and tuck it in there to try and get the penetration through the heart and the lungs. So we'll draw back through there like so. So as you can see, the arrow is going to be travelling directly in, hopefully into the top of the heart, into the lungs, and we should have had a very nice path through there.
It requires pinpoint accuracy and knowing the animal's anatomy.
So from this angle, we've got a quartering away shot. If I put my point of aim at the same place we were just shooting when we had a quartering on point, then that would miss the vital organs completely. So again, you've just got to make sure you remember exactly where the animal is and think about where the anatomy is. So I'm going to shoot in line with his opposing leg, or just in front of it, so it goes through and we hit the vital organs coming in from this side. So with the angle like that, that's allowed the arrow to pass right through the vital organs, so again causing maximum damage, and I doubt he would have gone very far at all.
However, the boar in the shadow and the sun in Roy's face is making life tough.
And that's another good demonstration why practice is vital. So even practicing on the 3D here, I was looking at the animal, but my sight picture was disturbed because I had the sun shining in through the peak, and so I couldn't quite make out the definition on the animal properly. And I was looking at the leg, trying to position just off the leg, but I took my position off the back leg rather than the front leg. So now I've put the arrow just slightly too far back. So what I want to do is come forward another couple of inches there. That would still be a kill shot, but it's not the kill shot that I'm after.
This shows practice is never wasted, and it's probably sensible not to keep your target in one place. The last thing to consider is a high seat shot. Again, the placement of the arrow will be key.
If we're shooting from a high seat, you've got to again think on your angles, on where you're shooting through, and obviously your different trajectory with the arrow as well. So if we were shooting an animal broadside on with a high seat, we're going to be shooting down at an angle like that. We want to make sure that we're shooting a little bit higher to allow the arrow again to pass through the vital organs.
So Roy's all set for French boar, and if he sees the grape, feels the grape, is the grape, we should be fine. Thank you, Roy, our very own Obelix. And if you want to see some of Roy's African adventures with a bow, click on the magical screen that's appeared up there behind me. Now, someone who's more bow peep than bow hunter, it's David on the Fieldsports Channel news stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. A picture has emerged of a Queen star going shooting. No, not Brian May, but good on you, Roger Taylor, who spent a couple of days shooting with friends while staying in a pub in North Wales. That leaves John and Freddie with the casting votes. Perhaps we'll never know. Lapwings are on the decline, and it's all thanks to grouse shooting. No, this isn't the usual RSPB tripe, but a study published by the Welsh Ornithological Society, which says that it's the loss of driven grouse shooting which is a possible reason behind declines in wading birds in Wales. Also responsible is afforestation, changes in upland farming, and, of course, climate change. American TV host and hunter Ava Shockey has revealed a list of nasty anti-hunting comments she has received from animal lovers. They've offered to kill her dog, and kill her parents, and recommended that she kills herself. She says she doesn't take it personally, adding, "I'll take the anti-hunters if I get a few more pro-hunters." Have you been asked to go shooting at Sandringham this Christmas? Beretta, the world's oldest gun maker, has recently extended its gun room on the 5th floor of Harrods, so if you have had a royal invite, take a brownie. Are you munching on pheasant whilst watching this? It's the Great British Game Week 2014. Game dishes are being served across the country, introducing people to the taste of game, from the 24th to the 30th of November 2014. And finally, this week's viral video isn't about a squirrel on a skateboard. It's a Hollywood actor's impassioned description of going deer stalking, and it's doing well on YouTube. Recorded in 2011, Guardians of the Galaxy actor Chris Pratt describes the thrill of going hunting.
Nothing knows you're there, nothing can smell you, the wind's in your face. You're a voyeur to the world waking up.
You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Now here's what you lot have been up to. It is Hallo Charlie.
Hello Charlie, David here from Norfolk. Spent a few hours in my local wood, managed to get me a mixed bag.
Hello Charlie, Tex Grebner here with Tex Grebner Outdoors. Busy being awesome, especially when things go badly.
Hello Charlie, Tom Oates here from Sheffield. Just doing a bit of rough shooting, see if I can get anything for pot. Keep up the good work, cheers.
Hello Charlie, greetings from Switzerland. Had a driven hunt here on the German border. Just shot a young roe doe, but pretty quiet this morning and probably a bit too warm.
That's it. Please send me your Hello Charlies via Facebook, YouTube, Dropbox, or email charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Thank you for those. Please keep them coming. Now, what is the point of the Altcar estate if you can't go coursing? Well, it's taken a clay pigeon trap manufacturer to return it to its sporting glory. One of the most famous estates in England, Altcar made its name with the Waterloo Cup, the top hare coursing event of the year. Tony Blair temporarily cancelled the coursing, but Brian Jardine is ensuring the estate just north of Liverpool becomes equally well known for shooting. Brian is the founder of clay pigeon trap manufacturer Promatic, and he loves his shooting.
Well, I've been a shooting man since I was 7, so it comes quite naturally, especially the wildfowling aspect at Altcar. We have like 35,000 geese within a 10-mile perimeter, which is fantastic, because wildfowling is probably my first love when it comes to shooting. There's about 5,000 acres here, 3,000 acres on the home shoot, which is in Thornton Hough. This used to be Lord Sefton's, the Waterloo Cup, which everybody knows, which is just basically half a mile from the lodge. So there's a lot of history here. The lease is basically, I have the lease on the both shoots, so that gives us some longevity of what we need to do.
Brian and Promatic have put some much needed investment into the estate. That was the old Gun's Hut. This is the new one. The arrival is easy for the guns, the atmosphere is friendly and the catering is sumptuous. Now that's a proper breakfast. Then it's into the gun bus and off along the estate roads to one of those big flat fertile fields that characterise the Lancashire mosses. Guns are lowered into their day's shooting today with a straightforward and easy first drive. We are aiming for a bag of about 250.
I find the best days around 200, 250 birds. There's no mileage in taking silly birds. We have fantastic presentations here. As we can see, some geese just going in behind us there, which is very apt, close to the lodge. But we have a variety of different days, starting at sort of 60 and 70 bird days, and on a typical all driven, on a small day maybe the guys get 30 snipe, some partridge, pheasant, duck, so it's very varied here about what time of year it is, what the weather conditions are, and then we go up to the normal partridge and pheasant. All the wood drives are in January, which is quite stupendous. Again, especially if we have a little bit of wind where we can drive the birds into the wind and push them back over the guns. It's very good.
There's a strong picking up team at Altcar with champion dogs at work.
I've got 4 lads and a spaniel. The yellow bitch at the back, she's the champion, and the spaniel's a champion, but I didn't get her to champion. She's borrowed.
Yep. Right, this is like partridge going back up that L shape already. You keep well wide, Tom. Just a minute.
Altcar is a traditional sporting estate laid out for shooting, and it is at its best in a prevailing southwesterly, not a thin southeasterly like today. But then easterlies tend to bring clear weather conditions, so it is better for you, the viewer. The guns are perfectly happy, but the gamekeeper knows best. At the end of the drive, Sam sums it up.
As good as could be expected.
It's back to the lodge for one of Chef's special bull shots. As well as the game and wildfowl, Brian uses Altcar to show off Promatic's simulated game layouts, which are as important to the company as its trap and sporting products.
And part of Promatic is that we have the shooting facilities here and also on the Wirral, which is very good for interaction with our customers. We also have the sitting syndicates on both estates, but it's all part of what we're trying to do to generate the simulated game, which is the big part of where Promatic's coming in the summer months, and the game shooting and the simulated game. There's a big crossover in the way we do it, the way we have the coaches, and the way everybody sort of behaves. We all dress the same for a simulated day, we dress the same for whether it's shooting partridge, pheasant or whatever, so we see to actually integrate the simulated game and have a very upmarket pheasants and partridge shoot is useful for the company. We start in early March, and that's specifically for people who are interested in buying simulated game equipment, so we can entertain them and we can show them and demonstrate the equipment, and then we go to just normal simulated days from sort of April, May, June and a little bit of July, and then we have to sort of take a back step because we've got the birds all arrived ready for the game season, so it's mainly between the 1st of March and the beginning of July.
Before we leave for Drive 3, the chef reveals his secret bullshot recipe. Listen up, bullshot connoisseurs.
The bullshot is made with grouse stock, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, I can't pronounce that, a little bit of Tabasco, black pepper and a hint of vodka.
So what's your recipe? If you're prepared to reveal it, leave it in a comment below. Now, whether it's the wine or the wind, Drive 3 is a wake-up call for the guns. Birds pour out, flying beautifully.
Very happy with that one. Partridge came through early on, gave them a bit of a shock, and then the pheasant went well. That went well.
What's your perfect wind for this shoot?
Southwest.
What have we got today?
Southeast. That's why I've got a slight grimace. This worked better, but it's set out for southwest. It was set out that way in Lord Sefton's time, all the rides in the woods and everything else. West isn't too bad, but anything with east in it is a little bit, the birds are either flying into it or it's difficult for us. But today that wasn't too bad.
Beautiful.
Did you work
yeah.
Sunday?
Steadily driven. They kept coming.
We haven't heard much from the guns. Well, they are the usual suspects you might meet on any shoot in the country, and they like to put each other under pressure.
Well, I thought that the two guns in front of me performed exceptionally well, and I was like, stop, start. They shot too well there. They didn't leave enough at all.
It's back to the sparkly new lodge for lunch. Standards remain as high as the breakfast. Brian describes how the new building came about.
Well, it had a difficult birth because of the local planners, but we came to an agreement in the end and were able to take down all the old rearing huts and build a lodge, which is so much easier than going to the pub. We just like it to be relaxed. We want everybody to enjoy themselves, arrive in good time, 2 drives, 11s, take our time during 11s, 2 more drives, come back for lunch, see what we have to do in the afternoon, and then everybody can settle down.
And it has a grass roof.
All part of the planning permission. And it made sense, and I'm very surprised how successful the grass roof has been. It obviously gives good insulation. It's easy to look after. We just send the keeper up there with a strimmer if it gets a little bit too, what would you say, wayward. But no, it's worked quite well.
Last drive of the day is a wood with one of Lord Sefton's rides cut through it.
Dom! No, he's not there. No, he's behind us.
The snapshooters like the ride, but the gun in the proverbial trough is the one on the edge of a piece of rough ground next to the wood. Bird after bird goes over. The others get plenty of shooting, but his peg is the day's hot seat. At the end of it, don't think the other guns will show any mercy.
Put it this way, you better have left or right next time. With everything will be dropping at his feet.
That's what we like to hear. A bit of sporting spirit.
Good finish, got us to where we want to be. Everybody's smiling, happy. Some good shots, especially number 1 and number 2. They had some stupendous birds in the end. Maybe number back gun should have got there a little bit quicker. He didn't go to the right place, but it all worked out. Good.
A memorable 250 achieved. 4 fast birds, good company, and a slice of British sporting heritage. Visit altcarestate.com. Right, every year London gunmaker James Purdey and Son choose the best examples of shooting and conservation in the country for the Purdey Awards. I have been off to film them. I am on a charming and fascinating journey from the English home counties to the north of Scotland. Purdey asked me to visit and film every one of the 5 finalists in this year's Purdey Awards for Game and Conservation. All of them won a prize on the night, which took place last Thursday. My journey starts in Bedfordshire, where Park Farm near the village of Harold now holds a Purdey Certificate of Merit.
I was asked to come by the late Mr. Robert Haygate, the owners of the estate, through a mutual friend in 1978 to come and tidy up woodlands. And I'm still here.
There are joint winners of gold in 2014. One of them is Rectory Farm in Buckinghamshire.
I'm principally a farmer. I'm a livestock farmer, but I get the pleasure from the wildlife, and if I want more wildlife, it's quite simple, you run a shoot.
Rectory Farm is especially good at offering local students a hands-on view of conservation at work.
We do 100 visits a year, and I think the general public don't really understand what we do.
The other Gold Award winner is Allarg Estate in Aberdeenshire. Gamekeeper Neil Brown has had to undertake a specific project there to turn a big lump of forestry that should never have been planted, what were they thinking, back into a grouse moor with all the wildlife that supports.
Well, this is basically the starting point of the whole project here. We had large areas of commercially planted woodland, lodgepole, pine, spruce, which had become a great barrier between the moorland and the lower areas in the estate. The quality of the woodland it produced was very poor, very expensive to extract, and not a lot of use to anyone really.
So what has this journey taught me? First of all, shooting and conservation hand in hand means these hard-working gamekeepers and owners are not lily-livered about pest control. They don't spend money producing reports which say that shooting magpies has no effect on songbirds. They spend the money on larsen traps. They kill the magpies and the songbirds thrive.
I personally don't like the term vermin because I think it's disrespectful and I think a bit old-fashioned. I think predator control perhaps we're stuck with, but I think the RSPB have attempted to own it and to put the term legal in front of it. I'm sorry, I don't do legal predator control. I do predator control, which is legal.
The payoff is wildlife. Lots and lots of wildlife.
You can see here where we've got a piece of maize here. At the side of it I have some spring beans at a new trial, see whether they are beneficial to all sorts of wildlife. And I'm down here in the evenings to see the bats and the swallows coming to feed off the water. It's always very satisfying.
You can watch all of these interviews in full on Purdey's own YouTube channel. These are remarkable shoots run by extraordinary people producing superb wildlife. For more on the Purdey Awards, go to purdey.com. Great work by all involved, and if you have got a shoot that is worth its weight in waders, why not get in touch with James Purdey and enter next year's. Now, more scope-fitting tips. It's Tim Pilbeam.
Over tightening is very much a common problem. Very often I have rifles coming in for adjustment and I can't get the screws out. They've been over tightened. People use the wrong screw head, I suppose. So we've got a torque screw or an Allen screw head, and people don't know the difference, and the insides of these screws become rounded off. Also, over tightening, the actual screws themselves become stretched, and if you do over tighten, you've got to be very careful because these scopes are made of very, very delicate material, and if you over tighten the actual rings, it squeezes the tube far too much. And this one here, this is a good quality scope. And you can see on the top here, it's actually been clamped so tight, it's actually marked the side of the tube. So it's actually squashed that. And the same on the rear. Somebody's been obviously very, very overzealous with their screws. So most important thing is don't tighten them too tight, especially when you've got some very expensive scopes here. You can actually destroy a £2,000 scope.
Right from the best of British to the best on YouTube, it is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. I once made the mistake of calling American beagles, of the kind that go rabbit hunting in packs, fat. Well, I won't do that again. I got more stick than from all of Brian May's dodgier mates put together. And just to rub the point, here is a 5-hour running and rabbit hunt condensed to just 6 minutes. Right, here's how to get your videos onto Hunting YouTube. Either buy me a drink or put up a film with a title that includes an animal, a method of capture, and a third random word I would not have thought of. So it is that rabbit poke net grabs my attention, because thanks to it I now know what a rabbit poke net is. We did a film about a Gridos ibex hunt in Hispania, and now so has Iba hunting, high-level goat action. Celadang goes to Tajikistan after big wild boar. In this film from the 2013-2014 season, it makes you want to go, which it is supposed to do. Owen Beardsmore of British stalking agency Service is in the Czech Republic, also after big wild boar. He is there to try out the President's hunting area. With dramatic footage, Zeiss remains the coolest kid on the YouTube block with this short film that aims to do nothing more than publicise its new hunting blog. Worth a look. Staying on Zeiss and the other parties in the recent Variety Tour, in fact, along with Hornady Zauer and Diana Hunting Tours, are putting out films. The Variety Tour was the week-long trip that 12 of us made around the south of England stalking deer, making films and writing blogs and articles. Look for the hashtag Passion for Hunting. And finally, blowgun dove hunting is impressive. Learn to be your own Amazonian Indian, if it is legal in your country, and especially if you're watching this in the Amazon. That's it for this week. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me, the link charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. If not those, how about these? Win guns, cars, money and the admiration of your mates. Schools Challenge TV offers the definitive guide to competitive sporting clay shooting, as Top Shot Chris Childerhouse guides you round a 50-bird sporting layout on a competition day. Also on hand are some of the kids he has taught as part of the Schools Challenge. We talk to him, to them, to their fathers, and we get a little preview of the 2015 CLA Game Fair with director Tony Wall. Last week's Airheads went budgie bananas. Well, sort of.
He's a pretty boy.
James Marchington shows how to decoy parakeets to your bird table. It's a film that has almost had more comments than views. Meanwhile, Darren is looking at the new Atom Night Vision unit. There is airgun news, views and indeed the best that the world of airgunning has to offer. Click on the link for more. Right, that's it for this week. Please subscribe. Please go to our webpage, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, or pop your email address into the constant contact box so we can constantly contact you about our flagship show, Fieldsports Britain, that's out 7 p.m. UK time every Wednesday. This has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.